Hi BookTube. Sorry I haven't done any videos this week. I have them filmed, I just haven't had time to edit them. And this is a Friday read, so it's not gonna take any editing. I just chop off the beginning and the end, and that's it. So what I've been doing mostly instead is I've discovered bullet journaling, and it is so addicting. I just sit there for hours, like forgetting to eat, forgetting to drink, forgetting that like the world actually exists and the things that I'm putting in my bullet journal actually need to get done. But I'm finished for now, I think, except for like aside the daily maintenance, like filling things in. But I've done all my spreads in my personal journal. February and January. I don't know why February and June would be done. February and January are done, so they're ready to go. And I wanted to show you some extra pages in my bullet journal, in my reading journal rather, sorry. Yeah, I've already shown a video about this, but I did more because it's so much fun. So where do we leave off? In my bullet journal, I think we left off on the genre trackers, which you can't really see there. And then I realized I needed a spillover page for January because I was reading more books than I left myself room for. And then I got a reading start date, reading end date, and I got a few pages there. Yeah, a few pages in there. And then I want to read 100 books, so I drew 100 stars. You can see why this takes so long. Some quote pages for quotes. The number of pages in each book. I want to see if I'm reading, you know, bigger books or smaller books or whatever. This is my most favorite page. I posted a picture on my Instagram of this spread, and I want to finish the Fables comics, and I have, I believe there's 9 left. So I did this really cool circle thing. And then comics, I'm going to print out the pages. I just wrote in the comic I read there, and I'm going to put it in there. And then this is a book battle page. I screwed up on the brackets, but it makes sense to me. And then here's a January stats page. I'm all over the place with this. Here's books on religion, done in like a sun shape. Then we have 5-star predictions. I might do a video about that. Books that I unwrap. I decided I wanted to keep track of that. Here we have authors by continent. I thought the map wasn't enough. I wanted to actually divide it down and see what authors I was reading. Books that I annotated in 2021. These are the tabs that I used to annotate. And then book reviews. I did a circle. I was grabbing like bowls and cups and everything to try and create all those circles. What's this? Oh, the date it was published. I thought that would be something cool to keep track of. Works in translation. And I think that's, oh no, total pages read by month, and then total pages by the end of the year. And I think this is the last page. Yeah, this is, oh, this is my Brothers Karamazov essay tracking page. Yeah. So that's still going. So what am I actually reading? Sorry, I talked about that for so long. It's just something I've been obsessed with. So I DNF'd The Amazing Adventures of Jules because it was racist. There was one scene where we meet this Japanese pilot and they talk about him having surgery to widen his eyes so he can see better, and I was just like, when was this? And it was written in the 2000s, and I was just like, holy cow, like, wow. And then one of the depictions of a black person was very like racially charged. So at that point I was just like, ooh, only 11 pages in, I was like, I can't do it. And I replaced that with, actually, oh, right here, Rose, which is the prequel to Bone, about the grandmother and the dragon in that book. Definitely read that. It's by a different artist, so it's a slightly different feel, and it definitely feels incomplete because I know you get the rest of the story eventually in Bone, but it still felt like I didn't get enough in here. Yeah, my audiobook, The Grey House, is going really well. I don't really see where it's going. I'm just kind of chugging along with the ride. I'm spending a lot of time in my car because a few of my people are like half an hour out and then half an hour in between and then half an hour back home. Like it's it's a lot of driving. So it's like an hour and a half just there, and then not including the rest of my day when I drive. Or sit on the side of the road and listen to the book anyways. And that's The Grey House. Did I say that already? And it seems to be about a boarding school, but more than a boarding school, more like an orphanage almost, because kids kind of get dropped off there and forgot about, but they're all like teenagers, and they're all boys, and they're all disabled in some fashion. Our main character in one section is in a wheelchair, and our other main character is blind, and his friend has no arms, and we're following all these different perspectives. Okay, in regards to physical books, pause for a thumbnail. Well, I guess this is kind of physical. This is my ebook. I'll be reading The Just City by Joe Walton. I'm 6% in. I had to charge it, so I haven't picked this up, but I will be concentrating on that this week. This past week, I've been concentrating on these 3 books. I realize they're all kind of brown in color, except this one's more gray. But anyways, World War Z by Max Brooks, an oral history of the zombie war. I apologize for the noise in the background. I should have closed the door, but I didn't. So, World War Z by Max Brooks. This is just like him talking to people about their experiences before and during the war, and I think I finally got to Homefront USA. And then, Can You Hear the Night Bird Call by Anita Rabadami. This is my reread, and I love this. I'm remembering why I love this so much. I'm so glad I'm getting to go through and tab everything. Let me talk about my tabs. I did that in another video, and I thought I'd still do it. So let's do here. Oh, this is a beautiful passage. Okay. Satpal and Nemo are husband and wife. So, Satpal paused at the gate to look back at Nemo as she stood at the door. He did this every morning, paused to glance back to assure himself that the happiness in the tiny house really did exist, that the tall, handsome woman who had borne him 2 sons really was a part of his life. He was filled with vaulting ambition to do huge, generous things for her. He thought anxiously of the debts that were piling up, wishing that business in his little mechanics shop that he co-owned with mild-mannered Mohem Lawn would pick up soon. Then he could spoil Nemo and his children with gifts and clothes, perhaps even add a 2nd floor to the house to accommodate the growing family. And so on and so forth. It was just the way he's just looking back and just like thinking about how happy he is and how much he wants to do for his family. I thought that was beautiful. And oh, this is about various people. We follow 3 perspectives so far. BBG, who married a man who brought her from India to Canada just before partition. We follow Leela Ray as she's coming from India to Canada in the 1960s, and Nemo, who is the niece of BBG, who is still living in India. Yeah, she ended up on the Indian side of the partition. So yeah. And then this book, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, George and Rue by George Eliot Clarke is about 2 brothers. It's based on a true story about 2 brothers who beat a taxi driver to death. And oh wow, the writing in this, he starts off like with all these like descriptions, and it's so engaging and so like descriptive. I really am really enjoying it, but in such a really interesting way. And he writes in dialect as well, so it's really cool. The last passage, I don't know if I'll be able to read it because there's a lot of vulgar stuff going on here. Okay. So, in Halifax, the end of the war meant a new, if milder, depression. The great naval port thrived on war, but withered and hibernated between conflicts. Canada's navy, the 3rd largest on earth, was being scrapped, while soldiers and sailors were turning into students and fathers, and relocating to the meccas of Toronto and Montreal, where factory wagers would buy washers, televisions, and toasters. So when Georgie tried to find work, there was none for a black boy. Yes, he could shine shoes again, he could carry bags again, he could wash dishes again, but he craved better. So yeah, I'm interested to see how their stories develop and why they murder this taxi driver. Checking my list to make sure I didn't forget anything. I finished First Sister. That's what else I did. That book was interesting. I think I could definitely tell that it was a debut. There were a few things here and there, but otherwise I really enjoyed it. The twists were really good. Really good twists. 2 things that just they don't come out of nowhere, like they make sense looking back-ish. Like if they're not just like out of the blue, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and I'm still working on Ulysses, but I think now that the bullet journal's done, I gotta clean some stuff up in the house that I've been ignoring, and then I can get back to concentrating on some of those bigger projects. I'm gonna go read. It's almost 9 o'clock at night, Thursday night here. I'm filming early, but I don't think I'll have time tomorrow. That's it. I believe. If I forget anything, oh well. I'm just gonna say right now, like, check me out on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me, and like, I'll probably follow you back, because I update there like way more often than I update here. And you can see some of my bullet journal spreads. I gotta stop talking about it. Okay. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you're reading this week, and have a great day.